Let's move forward. I'm glad you're with me. We've talked about the currency of our social lives, emotions, and the quality of our connections, rapport. Now, we're going to get to the mind-blowing technology that makes it all possible. I want to start with a scene. Imagine you're on a crowded city subway. You're facing forward, reading, minding your own business. Suddenly, from the far end of the car behind you, you hear a shriek. Instantly, your body tenses. Your mind races. What was that? A fight? Is someone in danger? Is that danger headed my way? You can't see a thing. But the man sitting across from you can. His face, which was neutral a second ago, flashes with anxiety. You watch him, your internal alarm now on high alert. And then, just as quickly, you see his worried expression soften into calm. He relaxes. He goes back to reading his newspaper. And in that instant, without a single word being exchanged, you know everything's okay. You take a breath and relax, too. How does this happen? How can a complete stranger's face act as a direct information feed into your own nervous system? It's because our brains are constantly, silently, and invisibly connected. They are all on the same wireless network. This, my friends, is what Chapter 3 is all about. Neural Wi-Fi. The deep dive. The world smiles with you, literally. That subway scenario reveals a fundamental survival instinct. In moments of uncertainty, we are hardwired to scan the faces of others for information. A look of terror on someone's face is an immediate, potent signal of danger. In fact, if you just gaze for a moment at a picture of a terrified face, your amygdala, your brain's fear center, instantly reacts. But how does that person's fear leap from their brain into yours? This happens through one of the most incredible discoveries in modern neuroscience: mirror neurons. The discovery was a complete accident. In the 1990s, scientists in Italy were mapping a monkey's brain, trying to see which individual brain cells fired when it performed an action, like grasping a piece of food. The work was precise and a little tedious. One hot afternoon, a research assistant came back from a break eating an ice cream cone. As he lifted the cone to his lips, the scientists were stunned to see the monkey's brain monitor light up. A cell in the monkey's brain fired as if it were lifting the cone to its own lips, even though it was just watching. They had stumbled upon our neural Wi-Fi. Mirror neurons are brain cells that reflect back an action we observe in someone else, making us mimic that action, or at least feel the impulse to do so. When you see someone smile, your mirror neurons fire, which sends a signal to your own facial muscles to start smiling, which in turn makes you feel a little happier. The old song lyric, "When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you," is not just poetry, it's neurology. This is the mechanism that makes emotions so contagious. As the scientist who discovered them said, mirror neurons allow us to grasp the minds of others not through conceptual reasoning, but through direct simulation, by feeling, not by thinking. When we see someone get hurt and we physically flinch, ooh, that's our mirror neurons creating a template of that action in our own brain. We get a little taste of their reality. This brain-to-brain link creates what's called empathic resonance. From feelings to ideas. This neural Wi-Fi doesn't just transmit feelings, it transmits ideas too. Goleman introduces us to the concept of memes, ideas that spread from mind to mind, much like a virus. The lyrics in a song, a political slogan, a catchphrase, these are all memes being broadcast over our collective neural network. This leads to a fascinating phenomenon called priming. Our brains can be subtly prepared, or primed, to act in a certain way without our conscious knowledge. In one wild experiment, Researchers had one group of volunteers read a list of words related to impoliteness, rude, obnoxious, while another group read words related to politeness, considerate, respectful. Afterward, they were put in a situation where they had to interrupt someone who was deep in conversation. The result? 2/3 of the people primed for rudeness butted in, while 8 out of 10 people primed for politeness waited patiently for the full 10 minutes. Their behavior was steered by words they had read minutes before, completely outside of their awareness. This is why, as Goleman recounts, he and his wife could be on a tropical island, and hours after seeing a ship on the horizon and taking a picture, both think of the camera at the exact same moment. A shared experience earlier in the day had primed the same train of thought in both of them, leading to a moment of seeming mind reading. Our brains are constantly picking up these subtle signals from our environment and from each other, creating an invisible convergence. The bridge to your life. Broadcasting on the human network. What this all means is that our brains are not isolated fortresses. They are open, permeable, and constantly interacting as if joined by an invisible link. We are nodes on a vast human network, continuously broadcasting and receiving signals. This gives us both a responsibility and an opportunity. Knowing that your inner state is contagious, what are you broadcasting to the people around you? Practice mindful broadcasting. This is a simple but powerful exercise. Before you walk into your home at the end of the day, before you join a meeting at work, or before you greet your kids, just pause for a second at the door. Take one deep breath and ask yourself, what feeling do I want to bring into this space? This simple intention can shift you from being an unconscious broadcaster of stress to a conscious contributor of calm or warmth. Recognize the primes. Start to notice how your environment primes your own mind. Notice how walking into a chaotic, messy room makes you feel a little more stressed, while a clean, organized space brings a sense of calm. Notice how listening to angry talk radio might prime you to be more irritable later. Awareness is the first step to choosing your inputs more wisely. You are the curator of your own mind. By being mindful of what you let in, you can change what you broadcast out. Your turn to reflect. This idea of our brains being so deeply and unconsciously interconnected is a big one. Let's process it together. A question of connection. The idea of mirror neurons means we physically feel what we see others experience. Can you think of a time you physically winced when you saw someone else get hurt, or felt a genuine warmth spread through your chest when you witnessed a loving hug between two people? A question of clarity or challenge. We learned that our brains can be primed by words or ideas we're not even consciously paying attention to, which then influences our behavior. How does it feel to know that your actions, like being polite or rude, can be shaped by such subtle, invisible forces? A question of intention. Knowing that your mood is literally contagious, what's one interaction you'll have this week with a colleague,